Hi friends, this is Kelly with Flower Child, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about depression. There is a lot of sadness, hopelessness, helplessness, depression going on right now on the planet. A lot of it is due to COVID. People have lost their jobs, businesses are failing, and people just don't know what to do with themselves. They're working from home. A lot of people are working from home and they're not getting that social interaction with other people. And that is also causing a lot of depression. So what I'd like to talk a little bit about today is how we can overcome minor depression. And I say minor depression because there are people out there who have extreme depression and they really need to be talking to a physician, a doctor, and getting antidepressants in order to help them with their chronic depression. Today we're just talking about mild depression that is caused by the feeling of overwhelm, stuck at home without any social interaction, lack of exercise, eating too much crap, mostly sugar, sitting around watching TV, sitting in front of the computer all day working, and just stuff like that. So let's talk about working from home. A lot of people are working from home right now. And things have changed, right? You might have your kids at home, your youngsters, while you're working at home. And being with kids all day can drive you a little batty. I know, I've got two of my own. Thankfully, they're all grown up now. But yeah, being with kids all day does make you a little crazy. Also, being at home all day and not getting to see anybody, not getting to socialize with adults, that will cause depression. And sometimes you don't recognize it as depression. It's loneliness. We are social creatures. We are social creatures. We need to be communicating. We need to be talking. We need to be doing activities with other people. So if you're feeling a little lonely at home, why not call somebody up, go out for a cup of coffee, go for a hike, go for a walk, go to the gym together, because that's the next topic, is exercise. If you want to feel good, the number one thing to do is to exercise more. And I'm not talking about just going for a walk down the road with the dog. I'm talking about getting the blood flowing so that it goes all the way up to your brain, so that your heart is pumping. You're out of breath. That's the type of exercise I'm talking about. That's what causes all the endorphins to flood your brain and make you feel good. And yeah, when you're in depression, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to go out. You don't want to go ride a bike or go for a jog. That's the last thing you want to do. You just want to sit there in front of the TV, binging on Netflix and eating gummy bears or popcorn or cake or whatever. All the things that are going to make you feel even worse about yourself, right? You just have to force yourself. So the thing to do is to call up a friend, and make a date. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we're going to go for a brisk walk, or we're going to go climb a hill. That'll get the blood pumping into your heart. Call up a friend and make a date, and do not cancel. Do not cancel. Have your friend hold you accountable for your exercise program, because all you have to do is get out there and do it. And I promise you that once you've done it, you will feel 100% better when you get back. 100% better. The next thing that causes depression is sugar. Bad diet. Now at the time, while you're eating that pint of ice cream or eating that big old slab of chocolate or the bag of gummy worms, at the time, oh, it's so good, yum yum, right? dopamine, all that good stuff floods your brain while you're eating those sweets, because that's what sugar does. That's why it's addictive. It makes you feel good in the moment. But then after you've eaten that whole slab of chocolate or ate that whole pint of ice cream and you're like, oh man, what did I do that for? You feel bad about yourself, right? You feel bad. It's like, wow, that was 5 minutes of pleasure, and now I'm going to feel bad about it for the next couple of hours. So the thing to do is to try to limit your sugar intake. Don't buy sweets. Don't bring sugar into the house. Instead of sugar, buy dried fruit or buy fresh fruit. Grapes are great to just pop in the mouth. And another thing, pomegranates. Pomegranates, right? If you need something to just be doing with your hands while you're watching TV, instead of shoveling in sweets or popcorn that's covered in butter, why not get a pomegranate? And you know what? It takes an hour to eat a pomegranate. Very satisfying, right? Because you're doing something with your hands. Another thing, you can buy popcorn. Popcorn is a great way to eat aimlessly and not be stuffing yourself full of sugar. That was one thing I did when I quit drinking, because I was just feeling so crappy the next day. As I got older, as I'm getting older, I found that my body wasn't metabolizing the sugar or the alcohol like it did in my youth. And so therefore, I would drink a couple of drinks every night, and the next day I would just be feeling really tired, lethargic. My brain wasn't functioning properly. My energy was suppressed. And yeah, it turned into depression, because it was a thing I did every single night. And when I decided that's it, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I just feel horrible, and I stopped drinking, my body craved sugar. I was craving sugar so bad because I had been so used to drinking sugar every night. And so for me, it took about 3 months for me to get over that craving, and I had to take it slowly. And so I started out trying to eat dates. If I needed sugar, I'd eat dates, dried fruit. And then I started with the popcorn. I was used to sitting at night with my partner, and after dinner we'd eat ice cream and watch TV. We'd eat some ice cream. And I had to get out of that habit because it was such a habit. I would have dinner and I'd be like, sit down in front of the TV, and I'd be like, oh, what do I know? I got to do something here. Oh, I just don't feel I got to do something. And so I would buy these bags of popcorn that already popped, and they have the sweet one, kettle corn, and I would eat the kettle corn popcorn. And then they have a light kettle corn, and this is the brand that I like the best. Is called Chick-a-Boom, and the bags are different colors. And so they have a light kettle corn, and so I went from the full kettle corn sweet to the light kettle corn, which wasn't as sweet, and now I just eat the regular salted popcorn. And if I really feel like something sweet, I'll buy the light kettle corn, and I'll have that. And also, I give myself a treat once a month. It's like, okay, you know, once a month, if I feel like eating a pint of ice cream, I'll do it. But you find that once you've gotten over the cravings for sugar, that you really don't enjoy eating that pint of ice cream. Because as you're eating it, you're feeling bad. You're going, you know what, I don't think I'm going to eat this whole thing all at once. Maybe I'll just eat a quarter of it, and I'll save the rest for tomorrow or the next day. So the sugar is a big one. If you can cut out the sugar, you'll feel a lot better. Or just cut down on the sugar. And also, once you start cutting down on sugar, you're going to lose a bit of weight. And if you're exercising, you're going to lose a bit of weight. And you're going to feel better about yourself. Your brain's going to be clear, your body's going to be fitter, and you're going to feel good. So yes, so getting back to the alcohol. Alcohol is a big depressant as well. Even when you're drinking the alcohol, at the time you're drinking the alcohol, if you drink more than a few glasses of wine or a few beers, you will find that you start feeling sad or aggressive. There's a fine line, right, between that happy-go-lucky, oh, I feel good, 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 to, oh my God, my life sucks, and the depression sets in. So alcohol is a depressant while you're drinking it, and the next day you feel pretty crappy too if you drink way too much. And while we're talking about substances, what about THC? Marijuana. Marijuana is a huge depressant. Not at the time. At the time, you take a smoke, you take an edible, and you feel great. You feel super. Life is just the bee's knees, not a care in the world. And that's because the THC affects the receptors in your brain. And all this dopamine just floods your brain. And you feel absolutely fabulous at the time. But once it wears off, you are depleted of dopamine. Your brain is not making that dopamine, and you just feel really bad. Okay, and this is why people will wake up, and the first thing they do in the morning is take a hit of the marijuana, because they need that dopamine again, and that marijuana will flood their brain again with dopamine. And then they go throughout the whole day smoking weed. And it becomes a cycle, becomes a habit, an addiction. So if you're finding that the THC is making you depressed, that might be something to look at. Now we talk about THC. What about CBD? Okay, CBD and CBG affect different receptors in your body. Whereas the THC hits the receptors in your brain and causes you to get high, the CBD and the CBG affect the receptors in your body, so you're not feeling the high. So they are non-psychotropic. However, CBD can also cause depression. For me, I love CBD. I sell it. That's what I do. I help people feel better by selling them CBD and CBG products for all kinds of things. I cannot take CBD because it's got just enough THC in there to cause me to feel depressed the next day. However, CBG doesn't do that. The CBG has virtually non-detectable THC. There is THC in there, but it's so minute that it doesn't affect me. And there are other people out there that I know of that have asked me about the depression and CBD. And it's because of the THC that's in there. So if you find that you've taken a CBD product in the past that's caused depression, you might want to try CBG. And you might be saying, what is CBG? I've never heard of CBG. What's this now? Well, CBG and CBD they're cannabinoids, just like THC. They're compounds that are found in cannabis, but they're both non-psychoactive. The CBD tends to be more sedating, and the CBG tends to be more stimulating. People usually take CBD at night to sleep, and they may take CBG in the morning, during the day, because it's more stimulating. It gives you more energy, it gives you more focus. And what are they taking it for? They're taking it for absolutely everything, from pain, inflammation, gut problems, vision problems, headaches, cuts and bruises. The salve works great for that. Just about anything it works for, right? And that is because we've got these receptors in our whole body called our endocannabinoid system, And the cannabinoids in cannabis attach to these receptors in our body, and they tend to create homeostasis. So if you've got cells that are out of whack, the cannabis will come in and it will compensate, and it will try to make that stable and balance it out. That's why it works for absolutely everything. Everything. That's great. So if you find that you're feeling depressed with THC or even CBD, and you're taking those drugs for pain and inflammation, you might want to try the CBG. It works really well for pain as well. In fact, some people say that it works even better than the CBD for inflammation. So that might be something that you try. We also have a combination of CBD and CBG, 50-50. It's called our CBD-CBG blend. And it's wonderful for absolutely everything as well. And you can take that at night, sleep great, and wake up the next morning feeling refreshed, energized, and focused. It's amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful blend, and it's one of our most popular products. And it doesn't have as much THC either because it's got the CBG in there. So you might want to try that one too. That's my favorite. We also have salves, like a balm that you can rub on. People use it for arthritis pain. I had a lady who just had a total knee replacement, and she was on all kinds of drugs, and they gave her creams to rub in there. And I gave her a blend salve to try, 1,000 milligram. And she said that was the only thing that worked to take away the pain so that she could sleep at night. She wasn't sleeping because of the pain, and even the strong drugs that they gave her wasn't working as well as the salve. So, and we have that testimonial on YouTube, and I will link it up here so that you can listen to her testimonial. So guys, if you're feeling a little under the weather, a little depressed, do yourself a favor. Get off the couch, step away from the computer, call up a friend, and go for a nice brisk walk. And I promise you, you're going to feel 100% better after you do that. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you again. Bye now.